Well, hey, everybody. It's that time again. We are here. Welcome to Healing Hands. This week's session is a spin-off from last week's session, and that is how to heal your emotional foundation, because we get cracks, and cracks lead to a lot of problems in our lives. So this is what I'm going to do right now because, as I say, every single week, sharing is caring, so I share my own stuff. Because if I don't, then no one knows we're in here until we're in here. So give me a minute, and I will do this. So here, share on your pages, please. Okay, there we go. So I've shared. Now we're good. Hey, I see you both so far too. And I know you both. Isn't that great? Okay. All right, so there's a lot with healing our foundation. And it's everything from feeling sometimes out of control and not knowing what to do. It's things that have happened in our lives that we've allowed to control us, and we have to take responsibility for that. Because if you don't take responsibility for what's happened in your life, you never will. So, yeah, I know. My hair's a mess, sorry. Anywho, back to this. This is more important than my hair. So, I'm going to go ahead and pull up some information that I've been working with. And we're going to start off with 7 ways to cope with your shortcomings, because we all have them, whether we like to admit it or not, but we do have shortcomings. And I need to go ahead and turn on my thing on my phone, because remember, admit it or not, but we do have shortcomings. I said that I can't always see what you're saying, so it's easier if I have it up on my phone right there. Okay, so now, if you want to be happy, you should do your utmost to prevent yourself from things that can hold you back in life. Life changes, for example, and failures help you discover and develop your unique gifts, talents, and strengths. And it's just something we carry and we just take down with us. The main point is to not allow various limitations to steal your happiness, because that's what happens, is we allow situations and things in our lives to steal our happiness. And we want to be happy, and we want to have that perfect life. And especially as women, for example, we want this perfect life, the perfect person, the perfect everything, which is kind of hard to do if we're not healthy ourselves. So we can't move forward in that without that. So here we go. We're going to learn how to go ahead and heal those emotional cracks. All right, can you all hear me okay? Picture great. You can hear me? Yes? No? Maybe so? I'll see it come up in a minute. Anyways, here we go. So people often, they find real or imagined characteristics and traits that are very harmful to their self-esteem. Thank you. You should realize that every failure can be a push to your success. So don't look at everything that happens in your life as this huge failure, because it's not. It's not a failure at all, because we learn, and that's how we become successful. It's not an inherited trait. It's not something that's passed down through generation to generation. Sorry, it's just not. A lot that happens with us is happening right now within this lifetime, and things we've learned. So we have to unlearn them so that we can learn to become healthy. So back to this and your characteristics. You should realize that, again, for every failure you have, it's literally pushing you in a direction of that successful event that's going to happen, because negative experiences usually change your prior principles and make you look at things another way to reach your goals. If you really want to do something with your shortcomings, you should recognize and acknowledge your origin. For example, it would be the first step into your progress by, like, for instance, I hope the tips I mentioned through here will help you move forward to a wonderful future and prevent your shortcomings from spilling over in life. As when I'm reading these to you and I'm telling you this, I'm still learning myself because, again, I'm human. And I like the smiles and the hellos and the occasional little laughters. Thanks, guys. The laughter, I don't know. Okay, so we're going to start off with the number 7. Very important, 7. Okay. Revalue your shortcomings. We all have them. You can't say you don't. We do. They're there. They're in our face. So when you feel that your shortcomings are making you dependent upon them, you should suppose that you can come in a handy, and they can really become handy in the future. Let's put it like that. If you make a proper examination of the problem that you're having, like say you get angry easily. Well, why are you getting angry easily? Let's look at that. That's a shortcoming. Let's find out why you're becoming angry. And let's find ways to fix it. What is the root of that problem? And that is something sometimes you have to ask internally and maybe analyze and so forth and just kind of go through it. So you're going to do a proper examination of the problem, and you'll find out that your shortcoming is a real blessing. And one day it will change your life for the better. Some life events may also help you understand that it isn't a shortcoming at all, but a short-term habit, kind of like smoking. Now, I know I have one person in here that is successful quitting smoking. I'm very proud of her, Jade. Yay! How long is it now that you've been quit smoking? That you successfully not had a cigarette in your mouth. Let's put it like that. Because I know you've had a relapse. And while we're waiting for that answer, we'll keep going. Now, number 2. It can be used to your advantage, your shortcomings. So think that the only right way to stop suffering from your shortcomings is to turn them into your advantage. Like 10 days, fantastic. See? Now, if you don't know how to take something and turn it into your advantage, you can ask someone you trust about your shortcomings. People around you, they know you. They know everything. Ah, okay. So it was 10 days that you kind of puff on one 5 days ago. Is that correct? What did you learn from that experience? Was it gross? Did it taste good? Did it make you want to say, ew, never again? I know I'm a successful 5-year, guys, 5 years, going on 6 years, quit smoking. I'm so very proud of myself. It was a battle. It's not an easy thing. It's changing your mindset. It's changing the way you do things. I mean, it's a lot of work. Okay. So kudos to you. Now, you may receive a great number of ideas on how to use your shortcomings to your advantage. People are always so willing to give advice. They can easily micromanage your life better than they can their own, of course. But now, if you are mega active and this trait causes a problem in your life, then you should lead a lifestyle that will correspond to your temper. So, say for instance, an active job will fulfill your expectations. Your shortcomings can enhance your career opportunities and stimulate your progress, depending. See? Yay! There you go. Yay for Jade. All right. Moving on. I need you to start thinking about this. Analyze your shortcomings. One of the most important steps is the analysis of your shortcomings. I mean, you should identify their nature, because many shortcomings can be triggered by certain events and situations. Maybe someone said something and it was just a word, and that's all it was, just a word. And it just triggered something in your head and you're like, oh my God. Okay. It may also be the trait of your characteristic. Moreover, you should learn about the stimulants and oppress them. So it's your stimulants, and I'm sorry, I'm talking more on a different level. The situations, the things that arouse that, things that create your that trigger that sets it off. You are the only one, and this is, I'm not kidding, you are the only one that can explore your inner world and change something inside you the way you'd like. Nobody can do that for you. It's just you. You're alone in that battle. So if you really want it to work, you got to make it work. All right. Now, and here, excuse me, I have allergies. I've had allergies. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to own my allergies because they don't own me. So they just try to. Now, let's work on these. If you already know the reason of your limitations that steal your happiness, you should start working on turning your weaknesses into strengths. So it's desirable to do it when beating yourself up. To my mind, it's better to catch yourself acting or thinking about your shortcomings and try to replace these thoughts and actions by more positive and interesting ones. Marilyn von Salmon once said, "Success is achieved by developing our strengths, not by eliminating our weaknesses." Why not work on these things you can change? Don't set goals for something that your expectations are too high. Set them at a moderate level, something that you know you can achieve. Focus more on your advantages, and you'll soon notice that you've forgotten about your shortcomings. So if you're focusing and you take things and you're not trying to just change it overnight, but you're focusing on these little baby steps. Think about when you were a baby. I know you don't remember. Your moms do. And they will tell you, "Oh, I remember when you started crawling and you scooted like this across the floor, and then you started learning how to walk and you were wobbly as you were holding on to things, and then there was that day you let go the first time and you took those couple steps." And they were so proud. You overcame your fear by letting go and taking those couple steps. It's the same thing here. You have to let go of that fear. You're allowing these shortcomings to control your life. Let's not let them control your life. You have to learn to let go of it and say, "I can let go. Let me take a step. Take one step this way, maybe a step that way, but I'm going to take a step without holding on now." So now you're going to do something in spite of them. Because remember, these are not your friend. Your shortcomings are not your friend. They're not your enemy, but they're not your friend. Okay? It often happens that hard work on your shortcomings doesn't help to eliminate them at one ample swoop. Remember that. It's not an overnight process. They may roam in your subconscious because they are a part of you. The only way out of this situation is to continue the hard work developing your strengths in spite of the constant annoying thoughts about your shortcomings. It's like smoking, for example. You went through this recently, Jade. It's a battle, and you had to succeed. And in your mind, you want to leave this comfort zone that you were in with the cigarettes. But the nicotine is yelling at you, "I miss you. I miss you. Come to me. Come to me." And you're sitting there thinking, maybe if I have just one, maybe just give me one little drag, and I'll never go back to it again, just one. And it's so easy to fall back if you don't stop yourself. Well, that's the same thing in anything in life. You have to take control, and you've got to not let it prevent it from controlling you. Okay? All right. Excuse me. Sorry. I have allergies. And I know that Squirrel's watching me wipe my nose, and I apologize. But they're not going away. Exactly. Because it talked to you, and you let it talk to you. But then you didn't let it control you, did you? That was a huge step. Huge step. All right. So here's another thing, and that is, let's accept these shortcomings. Accept them, okay? The most effective way to cope with your shortcomings is to embrace them. Many wise people believe that accepting shortcomings can empower you. We all know that no one is perfect, and shortcomings are an essential part of every person. Because we're human. We're not perfect. We're never going to be. However, I think that you have more positive traits than you can easily replace the negative ones with. It's better to be grateful. And I'm not kidding. It is better to be grateful for everything you have than to look at what you could have. All right. Now, when all else fails, ask for help. Ask for help. Like, let's say, for instance, you're struggling with an emotional situation, or you're struggling with temper issues, or you're struggling with quitting smoking, or whatever you're struggling with. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And it comes in so many different ways. Maybe asking someone not to smoke around you because you're weak right now and you can't do it. Okay? You can't be around it. If you cannot avoid emotional turmoil and pain, you should find time to reach out for professional help if someone there is not there to help you. And again, I told you before, this is where I come in. I do one-on-one sessions, guys. Contact me. Don't be afraid. You can PM me here at Healing Hands, and we can arrange something, okay? Unfortunately, you have to realize that because shortcomings can make you so stressed and tense that it can affect your relationship with society. It also affects your health. That's why you should take an action on restoring harmony in your life. Asking for help doesn't mean that you are weak, but it shows that you have a big desire to change your life for the better. And that speaks volumes about you as a person. It's you're willing to say, you know something, I have issues, I am not perfect, I need help. Now, I'm sure that every human being has a big set of shortcomings. Come on, we're human, right? You should be wise enough to develop your strengths. Work on those strengths. You don't let your shortcomings hold you back in life. Do you usually focus on your shortcomings as a person? I mean, ask yourself that. Do you focus on those shortcomings? Do you let them control you? Do you want the shortcomings that you suffer from in your life? Do you want them? Or what shortcomings have you suffered from in your life? Remember that notepad we were talking about, that journal? You need to write these down. Share your experiences, if not with the person, with yourself. Write them down and work on ways that you can change them. Again, don't be afraid. I'm here. I'm more than happy to work with you. We can solve so much. You'd be amazed what we can do in just a couple sessions. Now, here's something you really need to think about. Whoa, here's where it gets interesting, guys. How to recognize your personal faults and make a change. Lovely. We all have them. Guilty. I have them too. Whether I like to admit it most of the time. Do any of us? No. Okay, so like last night, I was sitting back and I was thinking, what can I do about this? Because I'm a futuristic person. I live in the future. I'm always thinking about, and I'm planning constantly. I'm planning my new home, what I want, how simplistic I want it, but yet I want it in a certain way where I have a big kitchen because I have to have this. Well, and then I ask myself, do I have to have this? Well, yes, I do. So what can I do without? If it meant, not being such a big home. So, I mean, it's just things like that. I'm recognizing faults, even in my own personality, because I want. And today I just said, you know something? I just want a big kitchen and I need a closet space. I'll be happy with anything else. But I want those few things. Okay. Now, in this post, we want to talk about so many different things. So it's going to be more than just this today, as you saw from the beginning. But our emotional foundation is huge. So Let's talk about procrastination. We're going to pull up a few things. What do you do to procrastinate? Is this one of your faults? Do you put things off? Are you a pantster or are you a plotter? Now, that's terms I use in the writing world. A pantster is somebody who just flies off the seat of their pants and just lives life. A plotter is somebody who plans everything out. I mean, down to the storyline. So, there you go. I don't know what my story reads in life, because I can only plot so much. Sometimes we do live off the seat of our pants. We got no choice because we can't control everything in life. But we can control our own behaviors. And that's what we're here today to do. Okay? If you have problems with procrastination, then you may want to think about that. Are you standing in a doorway daydreaming all day? Well, you're not getting anything done that way. Set some goals each day for yourself. Write them down and literally start checking them off. Okay? Do you play video games? And if you do, how many hours do you devote to it? Is there other things that you could be doing that would be more productive in your life? You need to look at that. So, and that really helps. And now, we address our faults for a lot of reasons. And here we are today, and this is one of them. And we all have them. And we have to remind ourselves we're all interested in one thing, and that is healing and becoming better. So we have to encompass compassion and love and meditation and do this for ourselves. Because we all want personal growth in life. No one wants to be at a stalemate. We're not playing chess. We don't want to get stuck at that end game. We want to keep going. Well, and we don't want to do things that are going to keep us in this bind. We want to be able to move forward. And if that means in a job, maybe you're trying to get a promotion. Does that mean in a relationship, you want a healthy relationship because maybe you've not had one? And it's time. You want somebody that's right for you and you're right for them. And you can give each other what you need in life. And doing that is encompassing your faults to make them your strengths and becoming healthy. So, and finding out where you're to just become a better person, ethical. If it's religion, you need to get into religion. Maybe you need that. Maybe you need something to ground you. Spiritual tradition is a big thing. Some people need it because it makes them a better person. And that's a true story, guys. Now, how do we recognize our personal faults? Oh boy, who wants to think about that, huh? Well, I do. I like to recognize my personal faults. So I'm going to kind of go over a couple things with you. You have to be aware of the results of your actions. Your actions can speak volumes to everybody around you. Okay? The first thing that you need to do is start to become more aware of your actions. It's your actions that often define who you are as a person and how people view you. People see you. What you put out there, that's what people see. Okay? Everything that you do in this world has a consequence, and you need to remember that. It is logic, science, truth. Because everything has a result and an end result. I said that backwards. Yes, I did. For example, if you drop an apple, it will fall to the ground, correct? If you eat poison food, you're going to get sick. If you continue to waste time, you won't achieve your goals. Start thinking about your actions and the consequences of your actions if you want to find your most grievous personal faults that you just need to look at the results and behavior. If good things come from the way you act, then keep it up. If bad things result from the way you act, make that change. Okay? Become aware of the results of your speech, because how you talk to people, that's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. Seriously. It's the way you treat people, the way you talk to them. This is exactly the same point, the same point I'm trying to make, but instead of focusing on body's actions, the nonverbal, focus on your speech. We've already focused before in past posts on nonverbal communication. Now we're literally focusing on what's coming out of your mouth. There's Zig Ziglar. He actually, and it's been years ago, but the book is called Hung by the Tongue, and I don't think it's in print anymore. But it was just a small little book, probably about this big and probably that thick. It wasn't much of a book, but it was so powerful, to be honest. And once something comes out of your mouth, you can't take it back. That will haunt you forever. And you need to be responsible for what comes out of your mouth and the consequences of what comes out of your mouth. So, like gossip, for one, harsh words, lies, all these are faults that can be changed. Again, we need to look at the results of our speech. Do our words inspire and motivate people to the good or the betterness, or do they make people feel small or ashamed or embarrassed? This is important. Speech is often overlooked by people who are interested in self-development because it plays such a major role in our lives. So you have to focus in on what comes out of your mouth. Try to become more aware of what you say, how you say it, who you say it to. See if it changes how you interact with people and whether or not they open up to you more. Look at people who have excellent speech. For example, Obama, Lincoln, King Jr., Martin Mandela, Gandhi. They have inspired and helped millions because of the way they speak, the way they talk. Okay? And then here's the next big step after paying attention to your speech, but still do this while you're focusing on that speech. Listen. Listening is something that a lot of people claim to be good at, but never really display their skills in. Listening is an art that needs to be developed. I've had conversations with people who I had to say, hello, did you not hear me? They're preoccupied doing something else. And I'm just sitting there like, ching, ching, 2 marks. Are we going for a third? And you can't, it annoys you to no end when people do that. So it needs to be honed in on. It is a skill. And when you learn how to listen properly, you learn a lot more about yourself and other people. If you want to recognize your personal faults, you need to start listening to others. Now, I'm not talking about listening to others when they tell you how annoying you are. Come on. We already know how annoying we are, right? I hope you do. I know how annoying I can be. I'm talking about listening to the more subtle clues that they give. Let me give you an example. I have a friend. She's an extremely angry person. I love this friend dearly, but I cannot stand the anger in her. It makes me feel cold and uncomfortable. And although I don't feel it's my place to say anything directly to her, I do try to give little cues to the fact that her anger is making other people around her feel squirmish. Of course, she really picks up on these cues because she's not a very good listener. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm still going to be her friend, but she's not my to-go-to friend, if that makes sense. She's not the person I'm going to call at any time because I can't. I need to know that the person I'm talking with is not going to fly off the handle, or they're going to listen to me. So when you learn to really listen really well, you might start to become more self-aware as well. That's a big thing. This will enable you to find faults that might otherwise you might have missed, such as provide you with an opportunity to work with them. So this is the extreme that some people do, and sometimes you need to do it. But we're going to move along, and before I go on to the next step, caring is sharing, guys. It looks like people are falling off here on me, and I don't know if it's internet or if it's Facebook or what. But caring is sharing. Please share. And who's with me still? Who's in here? Because I think Facebook is knocking you off, or it's your internet. Because I usually have a lot more people here. Share and let people know we're here. Now, I'm going to go into this part, and this is how to change. FB, I lost connection from. See, I knew FB was involved. Okay, now how to change these habits. There's a few methods I'm going to go over. This is help you own your own faults, and I want to talk about how you can change them for the better. This step is the most important, but it's also the hardest. Some strong determination is going to be needed here, okay? First, I need you to be brave. Okay? You got to be brave. The first thing that hits me is making myself step forward when I'm doing things and just getting rid of the fear. So we're all there. So to make changes in your personality, you have to be brave, and you have to put that fear aside. You need to be able to overcome the fear of change and do it because you know it's the right thing to do. When you're brave, you're able to do so many difficult things that you weren't able to do before. And one of the most difficult things you can do is attempt to change yourself for the better. That is the biggest part of making change. It's being brave. Now, here we go. It's understanding the outcome. That is your other part in this. When you understand the outcome, you're more likely to be brave and tough on this journey you have in life. Constantly remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Constantly remind yourself of your goals. This will energize you, and this will definitely strengthen you. I mean, and this is no joke, okay? Those the two things in this. That be brave, and then recognize it. You can do it, guys. I promise you. Recognizing the personal faults and changing them is not easy. It's hard work, and it can be, and at times be extremely painful, but the end result is always worth it. Everything in life that is worthwhile doing is difficult. The same is true for this. So don't be afraid to own it. It's yours. It's all yours, nobody else. Okay? Just find your weaknesses, own them, and go on with it, and you'll be totally okay. But you got to put that fear aside. Okay? Now, here's a problem, and that is avoidance. Oh my God. Cover your ears, because you can't avoid nothing. Okay? You have to be always strong. See? I got to keep positive for her. Anyways, avoidance. We avoid our stuff. You can tell what's important to people by looking in two places. One, their calendar, and two, their checkbooks. And that is the two things that way you can tell what's important to somebody. So, what's important to you? What do you have on your calendar? What should be on your calendar? Okay. Look for patterns in your life and get feedback in it. That'll help. Think back to your performance, review history, and others' feedback from managers and colleagues. That's a good thing. Oh my goodness. And see, I wonder if that's what's happening, Jane. People are getting kicked off. Well, you know something? Everyone may not be able to stay on live, but they can always come back and listen. So that's okay. That is okay. And it's Sunday. So, and I'm also doing it earlier. This is a trial run, and I'm finding 5 o'clock is just not as good, so we'll probably go back to 6 o'clock. So just kind of heads up on that. All right, now, again, you're looking for feedback. Find someone who doesn't hold you back. If you're with somebody and you're trying to change your behaviors and this person cannot support you in this changed behavior and give you that support you need in life, you're never going to succeed. You got to do some reevaluating, or you need to sit down and talk to this person, tell them how you feel, that you feel like they're not giving you the support you need. Okay? But find someone who's going to give you feedback. Someone who's trustworthy, honest, unafraid to tell you when your efforts just aren't cutting it. Okay? And tell them to get to the punchline. Don't waste no time. Don't waste no time. You ain't got time for this. You're trying to move forward in life. You're not trying to do a stalemate. Okay? And recognize your past failures. Find them. Recognize them. No path to success is always perfect. It's always the way you want it to be. The best performers found ways to stand on a pile of small failures to get to the next level. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to own your past failures, and you're going to get to the next level. Okay? No one is Superman or Superwoman. We're not perfect, but you can look at certain areas at something, and if you want to improve and bring to the next level, you can do it. Gift yourself with the zap you need to embrace it. Okay? All right, we're at the 20 minutes left for this session. So, again, people are getting knocked off Facebook. So this is usually where I would allow you to ask questions. Please do. There's not many of us because we're not staying connected long enough. And I'm sorry for that, guys. Luckily, I am, because that would be really bad. Really, really bad, honestly. But while I'm waiting for anyone to ask me questions, let's go into the 4 ways to recognize your weaknesses and capitalize on your strengths. That should really suffice and give us a lot of information. Throughout my career, for example, I've met hundreds of people, thousands of people. Some, they were very intelligent and brilliant. At times, when I was around some of them, I felt inadequate. And I really did, because their extensive knowledge in a certain area of study was way beyond what mine was. And I resonated with that. That's what I wanted, but I wasn't there yet. So I felt intimidated. I used to beat myself up about this until I learned to stop comparing myself with other people, because I have my own talented abilities. I learned to focus on my strengths and work on my weaknesses. And that was something I was just doing the other day, because I happened to bump into a classmate that I've had in one of my many psychology classes, and he gave me some useful information, which is now moving me even forward faster than where I needed. So it's amazing once you open yourself up what you can get. And all works great. I will have my master's in no time. So, but that's my personal goal for me. That's my goal for me. Now, have you ever felt like you were inadequate around people? That's a question for the floor. Have you ever felt like what you have to offer doesn't matter compared to what other people are offering? Well, I can relate. I can relate. I've encountered people over the years that were a lot better in certain things than I was. As a result, I kind of retreated into a different place, kind of insecurity. But then I'm too stubborn to stay there long, so I pushed my way out, but I still got there. And that's scary because if I was weaker, I would have got stuck. And that's very scary because I wouldn't be where I am today and doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be here doing this with y'all. Something I love to do. I love being here with you guys every Sunday. It means so much to me that you come in and join. So here's some examples of what I did and how you can do to help beat that cycle and not let it control you. Identify that weakness. Mine was insecurity. It's hard to identify your own weaknesses, but trust me, other people will be glad to point them out if you don't. Because people kind of sometimes think they're better than you, and they're quick to look at you. Well, they need to keep that pointed to themselves, and they have not acquired how to do that. Go to your close friends and family. They may be such a great resource in helping you identify any of those weaknesses you have that's got you at the stalemate. Okay? Turn your weaknesses into strength. We've discussed all this throughout today's session. Work to improve the areas you are lacking in by investing in yourself. Take courses. Go back to school if you need to. Take training classes. Improve any area you need in your own life. If you're suffering from anxiety or anger or something from your past is just eating you alive, you reach out and get help. May it be from talk therapy through a therapist. May it be coming to me and we'll do sessions live. We can do sessions together. And they're not live for consumption. These are not things we put out there. This is proprietary information, and anything you tell me stays with me. Okay? Use your strengths to outweigh the weak in your area. I believe that there will always be areas in your life that you just will not be good at. And guess what? It's okay. It's really okay if you're not good at something. Use your strengths and compensate in those areas so the weaknesses, they're not relevant. Okay? Capitalize on those strengths. It's good to work on improving areas that you are weak in, but it may be just to focus on your biggest strengths. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Two great examples of people who have overcome their weaknesses and focused on their strengths is Richard Branson. He's the owner of Virginia Mobile, and Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. Both had to overcome weaknesses in their lives, but they had to overcompensate in areas that they were good at and become multimillionaires. Wow, imagine that. I'd love to acquire that, but maybe one day, huh? But be confident in what you know. Identify your weaknesses, but don't let them make you feel inadequate. Take what you know and build on it. Then your weaknesses are small compared to your strengths. Okay? Demonstrate your strengths on your job, your daily life, around people, all your talents. Work, shine. Allow yourself to shine. Don't get caught up in or intimidated by what others are doing. Focus on what you do and what you do best to your ability. Okay? Hello, June. I'm good. Thank you. So, now that we have wrapped up our shortcomings for the day, so they're wrapped up and they are no longer relevant in this because we're going to work on them. So this is what I need you to do, okay? I want you to use from what we've done from the beginning, especially for those who have been with the beginning with Healing Hands, and that is use that notepad that you are keeping your notes, okay? And I want you to go ahead and write down things that you feel are holding you back in life. So if you have some shortcomings, some things that are holding you back, write them down. Write down your fears, things that are holding you back. Because what is it that's holding you back? What is doing that? What are the things that have caused you pain in your life and constant problems. Write it down. You have to be able to acknowledge what is going on and what your shortcomings are and what things that are in with you that you need to work at to become a healthier you. Okay? And guess what? You can do that, but you have to own it. Okay? And that brings us back to owning our shit. You think I was going to get through this session without saying that, since this is what it all encompasses? Own it, guys. It's yours. It's yours. Okay, so we have 15 minutes. And that's all we have left for today. So I'm opening up for any questions. I said that earlier. Any questions? Yes? No? Thinking about it? Don't want to put yourself out there? Okay, so I'm going to keep going, okay? And if someone asks me a question, then I'll stop. How does that sound? Okay, so I was going to go into building and repairing trust. I think I'm going to save that for our last day under this one, because I think you're still in the process of accepting responsibility for your actions. Okay? So, accepting responsibility for your actions has two basic components. Let's discuss the first one. Accepting personal responsibility, which is ownership of your own behavior and the consequences of that behavior. Until you accept responsibility for your actions or failures, it will be difficult for you to develop self-respect or even have respect for others. Okay? It's simple. No excuses. Stop. No excuses. Imagine in big, bold letters. Imagine. No excuses. It's simple. The truth of all human beings, young and old alike. Make mistakes and poor choices. The same goes for when we fail to act when we know we should. There are times when we look at the other way and we know the right thing to do and to move forward and take action. So you should understand one thing first, though, before you can do that. You're not the first person, nor are you going to be the last, who has fallen short in this personal behavior department from time to time. Okay? The second component of accepting responsibility is indirect responsibility. What does that mean? It's indirect. It's what's coming at you. And that is, it involves moving beyond yourself and taking action to help people or situations around you that call for assistance. So sometimes it's not all about you guys. There's other people. You have to see what other people are doing. Okay? What other people need. Maybe you got to stop and you have to do. And it's not all about you today. Okay? While this component is indirect responsibility, it may not rise to the level of personal responsibility. So that's very careful. Be very careful with that. You're not always responsible for other people. It does reveal something about your character and the type of person you are, though, if you can put other people beyond yourself. So clearly, there are many people who will walk right by the person who is down on the street or down on his luck. And they will. However, there are others, thank goodness, who will quickly stop and help. It's not hard to determine which of these two actions is the most responsible decision. Okay? What do we have, Jade? What's going on here? I shit a lot lately. Would you recommend doing this verbally to anyone or just keep journaling? At this present time, while you're still learning to own everything, I would probably still journal until you can get to a safe point where you know you can verbalize with people or person, whoever it is, in a constructive manner. So if the person is creating some kind of conflict from your past, then I highly recommend keep journaling. If this can be a conversation you can have with somebody and actually it's going to be okay because you're already having a constant communication, then that's great. You can do that. But if this is an ex relationship where it fell on horrible terms, you're still learning right now, and you still may not come across the way you want to. But if you are in a position where contacting this person directly could be bad for you, then I would recommend maybe just writing a letter and putting it in the mail. Okay, right. And see, that's what I was thinking, because I remember you talking about that. And I did not want to bring that up because that's not my story to tell. But, right. And that may take her years for her. Okay. So I'm dancing here. Okay. All right. Now, you have to know the real difference between being responsible and being irresponsible is an indication of how effectively we're managing our lives. When this opportunity to make, sorry, my phone was ringing. I had to ignore it. When it becomes an opportunity to make good or bad choices present itself, accepting responsibility, both personal and indirect responsibility, is one of the most important factors in defining a person's true character. When that responsible moment comes, what do you do? What can you do? It's an indication of the type of person you are. Remember that. Failing to accept personal responsibility may work to your advantage on occasions or in short term. Okay, for example, you might get away with keeping your mouth shut about something that you've done, or even blaming someone else for whatever your misdeeds were. You might not face consequences for your wrong actions at the time. However, make no mistake about this. Eventually, this poor choice will catch up with you, and it will typically cause you more pain for you down the road. So, own it, guys. Don't let past come back and haunt you. Don't do that, because it's not worth it. And it's not. Take everything that's happened to you and what's going on in your life, take that for what it is. Own it. Go after it. Take responsibility for it. Stop the behavior. If you need to apologize to somebody, you've done them wrong, I'd do it. Never leave anything unsaid. Even if it can't be verbal, like I was just like we were just discussing, throw it in a letter, put it in the mail, and say, I'm sorry. If you know you were truly wrong. Okay? Real important, guys. Really, really important. Because the biggest consequence is not accepting responsibility. Okay? And that is probably one of the biggest things that we have when it comes down to healing cracks in ourselves, because we don't feel good about ourselves when we have these cracks and we have these things going on. And what do? You need to feel good about you. You need to heal. You need to become a good person. You need to move forward in life. You need to become healthy. We need to get some spackle and put it on those cracks. And let's start healing them. But here's the process. And that leads me to next week. We are going to continue next week, because this will be the third Sunday, will be the third session. A much needed session this time, I think more so now, because we're in a critical point of this. And that is taking the hurt, taking even the hurt we've done to ourselves. Stop turning it inward as a negative and look at it. Step outside of your box. Let's look at all of this and see, what did I do? What can I do? What areas am I weak in? What areas am I strong in? Is there something I can do? Is it something I did? You have to be willing to own it. That's the only way we can move forward in life. You want to be healthy. Maybe you want to be married one day. You want to have children. You want to have a life. Well, you're at this crossroads in your life right now, and you have two roads. You have the road to where you can become healthy, and then you have this never-ending dark road. Well, what road do you take? What do you want? What do you want? Because I can sit here every week and I can do these sessions with you, which of course is free to charge to you because this is something I do. It's my way of giving back. But what do we do here? What do you want? At the end of the day, I can keep talking and I can keep talking and I can keep talking, and it could be falling on deaf ear, but you're here. So that tells me you need help. You need some help somewhere. And maybe we're not touching on it in these sessions. And if we're not touching on it in these sessions, guess what we're going to do? I have a PM in here. It's that instant message thing, you know, where you can leave me like an email and Healing Hands. Get with me. We can set up a session and we can do some one-on-one. And we will work it and we will get some resolution to what's going on with you, because that's what I'm here for. And I can only do so much in these Sunday sessions. I hit on a lot of little things. And sometimes it's not enough of what you might need. We need some resolution. Maybe I need to know a little history of what's going on with you if I'm going to help and I'm going to give you the correct advice. And I want to be able to do that for you. And I will do that for you. But I need that history. Now remember, anything that you and I discuss, it doesn't go any further than what you and I discuss. That is proprietary information. That is between you and I. And we get to the bottom and we solve, and we can do it two ways. We can actually talk on the phone. We don't meet face to face. Not at all. You can live anywhere. We can do it by video chat like this. Anything we need to do that we can help you become a healthier you. So we are at the end of the session. We have only 3 minutes to go. I'm going to ask y'all that are here, only a few of us because everyone's been getting knocked off the internet for some reason. Caring is sharing. Please share. I'd greatly appreciate that. Let everyone know that Healing Hands is here and what we do and how we can help. And I don't want to be a boring person and constantly preach. I need more interaction with you all. So the bigger we get, the better we get, and the more people are getting helped. But here we go at the end of the session. This goes viral, and it does, because people are, because of the sharing, because of it, people are jumping on I don't know, and they're getting involved and they're asking questions. So that's your part that you're doing, as I thank you for me doing my part in doing this with you, which I greatly appreciate. Boy, I'm loving all these hearts, guys. You are amazing. Thank you. So I'm going to say goodnight, guys. I will see you Sunday. That's next week. We're not doing 5 again. 5's not working well for us, it looks like. We're going to go back to 6 p.m. Okay? That seems to work better. More people are able to be here. And then they can actually be live and ask questions. So, night, everybody. Have a wonderful week. And remember, I'm only a PM away. Okay? You're welcome, Jade. Night, everybody.